What's good, YouTube? I don't know. I should do a YouTube video, intro video, but I don't do it anyways. But I'm gonna react to this 11 Genius Details Dragon Ball Z games by Budokai 3 and Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Budokai 3 have a lot of content. Tenkaichi 3 got a shit ton of content. Nah, man, I cuss.
Everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Secrets in Dragon Ball Games. Tenkaichi 3 doesn't allow you to select the same character twice, and that makes sense. There are over 150 characters in the
that.
game. Why would you even want to play with two of the same? Although, there are a few exceptions to this rule. Let's see what happens if we attempt to select multiple Cybermen.
Is that even possible? Oh, yes, it is. It should be possible. Because they grow from the ground, I think.
Yup, you can fill your entire 5-man squad with Cybermen. If you're wondering why Cybermen are the only exception, well, it might have something to do with them being literal plant people. They can literally be cultivated and grown. But more so, it's probably because they're considered as clone-type characters. The
See the
Z
back of
Fighters
them.
were fighting 6 of them in the show, so I believe that this was just a clever little nod to the series. But Cybermen aren't the only clone-type characters. You can also select 5 Cell Juniors and even 5 Metal Coolers. Fun fact,
Makes
Metal
sense.
Cooler plays exactly like an android, despite not being one. You can't drain his energy, you can't sense him, he can't even charge his ki. After all, he is a mass-produced robot clone of Cooler. So yeah, these 3 are the
Big
only
Getty
characters
Star.
that can be selected more
still
than
remember that damn
once,
movie.
which is quite fitting, considering all of them appeared as an army of clones in the show. In Tenkaichi 1, we can play in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, a vast, endless void where you can get a year's worth of training in a
Yeah, it's definitely a goddamn mod.
single day in real time. On its own, the Time Chamber stage is no big deal. Every single game has it as a playable stage. The neat part comes when we slow down with our gameplay and just listen. From the creators of Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail is a
Actually, got
free-to-play
hit with an ad.
cross-platform space fantasy RPG available on your Matics and Music. The ultimate techniques. You got giant
See, I play JRPG games, but hey,
orbital
I don't play it all the
cannons, a
time.
full-fledged army, and flashing gun
it really gotta spark my interest in order to play it.
5-star limited protagonist of the game character. He is a formation. Blade is a wind-type damage dealer who you appear in secure events, monsters, and most importantly, free rewards. So, what are you waiting? You get 50 stellar.
It's like a gotcha.
Let's throw a few key blasts. Let's see if you can catch it.
This shit does like it is a fire.
And now I'm going to do the same thing on a different stage. Notice the difference? The Hyperbolic Time Chamber has a subtle reverb, echo-like effect that can be heard each time you make a sound on this stage. A simple yet clever little detail by the developer team. The same thing happened when the Z Fighters entered the Time Chamber in the anime.
It's hot in here. I feel kind
All that attention to detail.
I've seen some people in the comments claiming that future Gohan loses his arm once battle damaged. Now, I know he only uses one of his arms during combat and also has a limp arm for his low HP animation, but having his arm straight up fall off during battle? That's not something I ever encountered during any of my regular playthroughs. A bunch of people were saying he loses his arm in the Japanese version of BT3, aka Sparking Meteor, and some were saying you need the 1.0 North American version. With so many people claiming this, surely there's some merit to it. I've managed to obtain every single version of Tenkaichi 3, and we're
it's a
going to
Japan
do this
version.
test on each of them, kicking it off with the Japanese version.
Oh, this man got money.
Nothing. Arm is still intact. And then moved on to the European version. Again, nothing. And finally, the North American version. Yep, I thought so. There you have it. Future Gohan doesn't lose his arm in any of the game's versions. But people still keep on insisting that they've seen Future Gohan with one arm in Tenkaichi 3. Worst part is, I also have a faint memory of playing with one-armed Future Gohan as a kid. Could this be some strange case of the Mandela effect? Surely, there has to be something.
I personally think is the Wii had patch. I don't know the Wii had patches. But what I'm about to say is, I'm pretty sure when the game probably first came out, you know, as a, I guess their way of patching things up in the video game, I'm pretty sure they released the game. Later versions of Dragon Ball Z, I guess you could say. Because this game came out on Wii and PS2. It could be the PS2 version.
there with so many people remembering the same thing? Well, I think I've got a possible explanation, but
The
it
older
might
version
not
of the
apply
games.
to everyone. You see, Tenkaichi 3 is one of the most downloaded PS2 ROMs of all time. If you go to any ROM site, chances are you're going to see Tenkaichi 3 at the top. With a game as beloved and popular as Tenkaichi 3, you already know there will be tons of mods and fan projects centered around the game.
Oh,
One
that
of
too.
those projects is the famous Tenkaichi 4 mod. It's a fantastic mod, which I'll probably cover in future videos. But for now, here's what's important. The creators of the mod
Go through my older videos. I was playing the mod like literally last year. I might jump back on it again just because I got the updated version, but I gotta run through that whole story again. Unless I could get the files. Somebody has helped me how to get that. So I had to unlock Beast Gohan and Cell, Max Cell and crap like that. But I do got Tenkaichi 4 mod, and I played it. I pretty much played through the whole series. Link in the description if I put it in the description. If not, just find it. Just type in Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 4 in my search bar on my channel. You'll find all the DBZ videos I made. It's a good ass mod.
have altered some of the features from the base game. And one of those features is, you guessed it, Future Gohan's battle damage look. And it's not just Tenkaichi 4 mod. Almost all of these modded versions of Tenkaichi 3 love to give Future Gohan his iconic look back. It's possible some of you have played a modded version of Tenkaichi 3 without even knowing it. Hence, so many people having a memory of one-armed Gohan. That's my theory at least. No official version of BT3 has one-armed Gohan. Only game that came out during that period that had him was Sagas. It's possible people
probably was- oh my
misremembered it
God.
with the DBZ Sagas version of him.
They look awful. Come actually play that shit back in my day.
Here's a subtle little detail that's been silently removed from the Tenkaichi series. The auras in the Tenkaichi games have gone through quite an evolution. From the pretty standard aura charges in the very first Tenkaichi game to a heavy focus on electricity and lightning effects in the second game. And back to that Tenkaichi 1 aesthetic in the third game, albeit slightly more refined. But there's something unique about the Tenkaichi 1 aura charge, which I don't believe many people picked up on. If you're standing on a solid surface while gathering ki, something interesting happens. Small rocks will start to fly around the player, just as they do in the show. I really love this little detail, and I'll never understand why they got rid of it in all of the future installments.
Waste of
Budokai
time.
3 is my favorite
You
when it
fly
comes
most
to
of
this
the time
tiny
fighting.
detail. See, in Budokai 3, if you're charging on a solid surface, rocks will start to fly around you, just like they do in Tenkaichi 1. However, if you're charging on a surface where there's grass, alongside rocks and soil flying around you, you'll also be able to notice pieces of grass slowly getting lifted into the air. This one is probably the most subtle but genius detail I've ever seen. Budokai 3 was the first Budokai game to add Kid Goku as a playable character. They even had plans for a whole time travel themed Dragon Universe campaign.
Listen, you seem to have gone to the future in a time machine.
Oh, a time machine. Like one of those thingies you wear on your wrist, right?
But that's a whole different story that'll be covered in one of the future videos.
I need to play Budokai 3
Anyways,
again.
there are plenty of characters that use the Kamehameha in this game. Goku, Gohan, Goten, Yamcha, and so on. And all of those characters fire it in a certain shape. Whereas with Kid Goku, things are a bit more unique. Did you catch it? Kid Goku's Kamehameha has a soft, rounder shape, and the blast itself looks smaller than the regular version. It's a cute little nod to the original Dragon Ball. The Kamehamehas were drawn with much softer and rounder shapes. In fact, the whole art style of the original series was more round and soft compared to the sharp and rigid Z era of the series. Let's talk about jumping
The Z era.
mechanic in Tenkaichi 3.
I always say Tanabe. I personally enjoyed the Tanabe version of Dragon Ball Z.
No, it sounds kinda dumb, but bear with me.
Cartoon
I
Network
always knew
days.
Grade 3 Trunks was slower and
Cause that's where all that damn iconic music came from, most of it.
more sluggish than his regular Super Saiyan form. But I
Yeah.
never realized his ability to jump also saw a big nerf. I guess those big muscles really take a toll on you. This little detail makes sense, but what doesn't make sense? Super Saiyan 2 Goku. For some reason, he jumps higher than the rest of the cast. At first, I thought this was a power progression thing, like the higher your power level is, the higher you could jump. However, that isn't the case. Although SSJ2 Goku jumps higher than SSJ1, as soon as we transform to Super Saiyan 3, that height increase is gone and reverted back to Super Saiyan 1 level of height. And what's more, General Blue has the highest jump in the entire game. Why does he have the highest jump in the entire game? I have no idea. Could just be a reference which I'm not picking up on.
Ninja Turtles movie, Seth Rogen.
In Budokai 3, if you have the Warp Kamehameha capsule equipped and successfully completed the Dragon Rush sequence, Goku will knock the enemy away and begin charging
This
his
ABC
Kamehameha,
shit.
at which point the enemy will launch a Ki Blast in an attempt to stop Goku from charging. But Goku just ignores it and teleports behind. That's how it looks like with 95% of the characters. Goku charges a Kamehameha, the enemy launches a Ki Blast, Goku teleports, and blows them up.
95,
But
so I'm
what
pretty
if a
sure-
character
yeah, I knew he's
isn't
gonna- I knew he's gonna
able
bring
to
this
launch a
up.
Ki Blast at
I knew he was gonna bring this one up.
Goku. What if that character is Mr. Satan? Mr. Satan isn't able to use Ki. Heck, he can't even fly or launch Ki Blasts. So let's see what happens if we try the Warp Kamehameha on Mr. Satan. Instead of breaking the lore and giving him the ability to use Ki Blasts, the devs decided to take their time and do something different. Mr. Satan will just stand there proudly while doing a pose in his typical champ fashion, accepting his fate.
I'm not really.
There's also Videl, who, similar to Mr. Satan, isn't able to launch Ki Blasts. Instead of striking a pose, she would put her guard up and accept her fate with a worried look on her face. In Tenkaichi 3, if you perform Solar Flare, your opponent will get blinded and just fly off into the distance. After the flash wears out, they'll begin to scout the
That's
area
an AI
and look
thing.
for you. Well, it didn't always work like this. Things were a bit different in both Tenkaichi 1 and 2. In those games, once you blinded your opponent, they would begin to frantically punch and kick in an attempt to stop you from escaping. And in most cases, they actually stop you. I always felt like characters should have done this in the show. I know you're blind, Trunks, but you could have at least thrown a few Ki Blasts in some
Hell, some got those damn AOE type of blasts where you just blow up shit around you.
else
Hey,
direction.
I don't know.
At least.
It's anime. It's anime
Krillin
for
and
you.
Android 18
Hell, Vegeta finishing move was like what he did in the Majin Buu series. I
were
don't know.
smart enough to try this. Also, can we
That
talk
move was very OP in Shin Budokai 2, by the way. Hey, Shin Budokai 2, by the way. That's the reason I remember
about
that.
how
Plus, I
bad
should be
Solar Flare
careful
is
about
in Tenkaichi 2? The activation takes way too long, and the window of opportunity for your opponent to punch you and negate the Solar Flare is huge. I'm really glad they went back and made it an instant activation move in Tenkaichi 3.
Where are you?
If you don't do anything on the ultimate training screen for 2 minutes, Great Saiyaman will do this.
I'll have to do great today, too.
That's all for this one.
Oh my
A big
God.
shout out to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring this video. Also, that Naruto video, which I promise will be out real soon.
Oh, Naruto. I'm interested in the Naruto videos, but like I said, the other stuff I kind of knew, but I'm kind of glad they actually made a video. Just in case, you could tell with devs and stuff, they actually enjoy the game, and actually put attention to detail into things. Like, comment, subscribe. Yes, I'll probably upload this, probably not. Who knows?